the thing we're recommending you do this weekend, go to the convention center because they're making cake.
Cake fair!
Yeah.
We're doing cakes. We're joined by over 40 international cake artists. There's going to be everything from hands-on classes, live demonstrations, even an edible sugar art fashion show. It's going to be fantastic.
Your cakes are famous all over the world, especially from in England, but tell us what you're doing today.
Today I'm going to be making what we call crown cakes because they're one step more beautiful than a cupcake. And
Okay.
they're cakes that are fully covered in the satinized fondant, and they're going to be decorated with a hand-moulded red rose and a beautiful little gold crown, just like I made for Her Majesty the Queen that we took to Buckingham Palace.
Are we going to have poppers?
Made these.
Maybe.
Okay.
Poppers too?
Poppers. You
Why
know what
not?
poppers are?
I have no idea.
We're not popping any pills, okay? We're
No.
it's something
Stop.
we do at the holidays.
Just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you're going to make those for us, and this is exactly what the Queen got.
Very similar.
Very similar, but better, right?
Different. I'm using the satinized sugar paste, and what I can do here is knead it. What that does is makes it nice and pliable and malleable, so that it has a wonderful elastication, and as I go then to shape it over the cakes, it won't crack or crease. So I do that by turning it in a circular direction like this, and as I turn it, I bring the outside edge into the middle. And what this is doing is working it up, making it nice and warm. It's not putting any extra air bubbles in, and you see how by doing that, it keeps everything nice and neat. So when I'm ready to roll it, I just flip it over and it's lovely and smooth. So now with a little bit of cornstarch on the table. I haven't used any up until this point because I don't want to change the format of the actual fondant itself. A little sprinkle on that. And then I'm going to use my rolling pin to roll this out. And I'm going to go for a thickness of around 1/4 of an inch so that it puts a good covering on the cake itself that acts as a wonderful barrier to lock in all the moisture on the cake, but not so thick that all you're eating through is a great big hunk of icing.
Right.
Here's a really great top tip for getting your fondant really lovely and smooth before it goes onto the cake. Once you've rolled it out and it's still on the table, grab yourself an icing smoother and just rub over the surface of that icing. What this will do is level out any of the undulations or lumps and bumps in the sugar paste and make it wonderfully smooth, almost like glass, before it goes on your cake. What I'm doing here is just putting some of the buttercream on the outside of the cake. This is going to act as a wonderful glue to keep the cake nice and moist, but to also to ensure that when the satinized sugar paste, the fondant, sits over the cake, it's got something to help it stick to the cake. Locks in the moisture, gives it a wonderful flavour. Sugar paste, lift it up over the top, and then turn the cake and bring that paste all the way around the side, cupping it as you go to get a wonderful finish right the way down to the base of the cake. What I'm going to do is use one of the larger circular cutters over the top to cut away the excess sugar paste, and as I release that then, I've got my perfectly decorated cakes. To make a beautiful red rose that you can use to go on top of your crown cakes, take some of the sugar paste, I'm using the red satin ice here, knead it so that it's nice and pliable and malleable, and then roll it into a little tube, a sausage. And keeping it quite thick will make you quite a nice large rose to go on the top. Get the seam facing down on the table, cut the end off with a sharp knife so that you're starting with a nice square edge, and then cut 8 discs, and they need to be around 4 or 5 millimeters in thickness. Open up a letter pouch that you have, slit the sides so that you can open it up, and the reason we shape the petals in here is so that you can shape them without them tearing or cutting or fraying as you create the perfect petals. Lay the disc inside, the top down, and then with the base of the thumb just give each one a light press in order to start the rounding process. And then take your thumb and actually smooth the top end of each of the petals down, so it's just this rounded edge that we're smoothing to create that really lovely, fragile, delicate top edge to the rose petal. Now you can make these out of any colour satin ice, you can make them out of chocolate, and they can be made anything up to 3 months in advance. So you can make them, keep them in a cake box, and use them when you're ready. So when you're ready, take the first one, rub it with your thumb to release it from the page, and if you turn it over you see it's lovely, shiny and smooth, and has put a natural curl into the petal. With the first one, roll it up really tight so you create that centre of what's going to be the rose. Then take the second one, lay it in the center, keep the door open, tuck the third one in, and then curl those two around together. Seal them up, and then just roll the edge of the petal down, give it a little twist in order to start creating that lovely shape. That's our petal.
There we go. These are our finished products. It's so nice.